This is going over the grid method, and I love the grid method, but sometimes when it's in a Google Doc, it kind of drives me crazy. I'm not a huge fan of Google Docs. I like to make everything in Google Slides, and I'm hoping I can pull up a version of kind of like what it looks like in a Google Doc. I think sometimes this is like overload for a lot of students. Everything's kind of in one place. It's not very organized. And so right here is the grid method with a Google slide. So again, taking the same method from Teach Better and putting it right into a Google slide. And so you can kind of see here that there's different levels up here. And this is based on depth of knowledge. So this is like DOK level 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 and 6 can be your like extension activities or your can do activities for when students finish. Um, so right here again is the kinetic and potential grid. So this is just kind of an example, and you can take this, you can change your own. You can go into the slide edit theme and you can change your background. So all you have to do is delete that. And then I use transparency to get that kind of less bright. So that way it kind of pops more on this page. Then right here, we've got the directions. So students are just going to complete every single activity in order. This was kind of inspired on Teachers Pay, or not Teachers Pay Teachers, but Slides Mania. There's an original one from, I think it's Miss Evans, that she created. And then this was the grid that Anna Myers made. And I just kind of took this and I was able to go in and make it into this Google slide so students could maybe follow it a little bit better. So the first thing is tracking. Down here in the speaker notes, there's videos and extra resources on tracking. You can use a digital tracker, just kind of like this, where you can kind of see students and where they're at every single level. You can also go in and you can use a student log. So student logs are really nice. It allows for those moments with your students, so that way you are able to go in and kind of check in with them individually. So you can see here there's like different teacher checks that they have to complete. Students are able to keep working. I have one teacher who uses post-it notes. So when the kids are ready for a check, they put their post-it note to her, and then they keep working and she calls them up to check. So again, that could be one way that you could check in kind of with your students. There's also, I've seen Pear Deck, so you could throw these on a Pear Deck. Just know that these hyperlinks will not work on Pear Deck. So what I usually do is I duplicate the slide, make one of them the tracker, and then one of them would be Pear Deck. But I think it's huge to track student progress if you use a Google Sheet, Google Slide, or even if you just have them individually track. It helps them know exactly where they're at and what they need help with. So either way, it can also help you. On the Google Sheets tracker, students can tell you if they're working, if they finish, where they need check. So again, it can be a great way to kind of check in with students. And this video again has more details on what that looks like. The next thing is the grid. So right here you can see level 1 engage, and then they complete these different activities. Again, these are aligned with DOK level 1. And we also kind of paired these up with the 5 E's. So like engage, explore, explain, evaluate, and so on. So we're really pushing that in our district. And so right there is just another way that you can kind of do that. So here students are learning the content, kind of that DOK level 1. Then they're going up to DOK level 2, where they're going to start to apply it and build it. They're also going to do the explore level. So again, right here, you're just able to go in and you can change. I've seen teachers write like I can statements here, maybe listing goals for students. So that way you can kind of take some of that ownership and place it on the student. So if you don't want to use maybe that 5E model, you are able to go in here and edit whatever you want to fit your own classroom needs. Then every day, students will be doing Fast and Curious. Vocab is another focus for us. And so Fast and Curious is an edu protocol, and students take a quizzes, Kahoot, look at any of those, and they will write their individual score for how they performed on Monday. Now, Monday's score will probably be a lot lower, but by Friday, they should be up to like the 80s or 90s to 100 range. So again, working on that repetition, using some of that learning science and retrieval practice to really get students to know and master that vocabulary. You can change the words for week 2 and week 3 or whatever you want to do, or you could use the same word list and see how your students are doing. A lot of times, too, on Wednesday, I like to have my students complete maybe the Kahoot. And then after that, the words that they missed, they do a Frayer model, or they do some type of other vocabulary words with the words that they missed to learn those words. And it can be kind of motivating because the more words they miss, the more activities they have to do with those words. So that can also kind of help your students. So again, here is the grid method. Can't wait to see how you use and adapt this in your classroom.